Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have some Tiburon updates which might excite some of you and might disappoint some of you, but nonetheless I have a Tiburon update and that's what we're going to go over in this video. We have a package here behind me, but before we open that and reveal what is to come, there's some things that we have to do first. Let's get to it. Say goodbye to the Supercharger. Later, dude. Alright. Last thing. Alright, well that's going to do it. Got a whole bunch of bubble wrap and packing paper and whatnot in there, so this is the best we're going to do. So, all ready to go. Let's send it out to UPS. So yes, unfortunately, the sad part is the Supercharger is gone, but here in this box we got something in return. So what I'd like to do is reveal what's in this box. We're going to talk about why I got rid of the Supercharger, why I have these products here, where I got them from, and what that means for you guys, because that's most important. First things first, here's a note from the owner of these parts and the maker and fabricator of these parts. Taylor, first off, thank you for reaching out and offering the opportunity to be featured on your YouTube channel. It really does mean a lot to me. We'll go over who that is in a second. In this kit, we have a ported upper manifold, ported lower manifold, catch can, hoses, hardware, tuned ECU, and swag. That, my friends, is the note from Richard at Tib Tech Engineering, which is a brand new company that is making awesome custom parts for the Hyundai Tiburon. I'm very excited, and you guys should be too, because this is a big deal for the Tiburon platform. Okay, so what we have here first is the oil catch can. Quality here, fantastic. Love the wrinkle black. That finish looks excellent. Fittings are good. Came with all the brackets and hardware that we need. Love the wrinkle black finish. I decided to go with wrinkle black as the color scheme I'm going to be going with in my engine bay. I have the royal blue piping on my air intake, so I think the two of those together are going to complement each other really nicely. Anyway, also coming with the oil catch can is our lines. We got two of those. These are brand new. And of course we have the mounting hardware, which is also powder coated in black, wrinkle black, and then we of course have the hose clamps as well. So very happy with the quality of this. He did an excellent job. So first product down, let's see what else we got. Love this. This looks fantastic. Again, this wrinkle black powder coated finish. Couldn't be more happy with that. That looks fantastic. As you heard me say earlier, this is port matched along with the upper intake manifold that we just received. So we're going to be getting a lot better airflow. This ECU is tuned for intake, headers, and exhaust. And we also have some other goodies on here as well, which let me bring you in for a close-up. I believe Chase from the Tiburon forum did this for Richard. I could be wrong, so Richard can correct me in this video, or I'll probably reach out before I post the video and just make sure so I'm not wrong here. But Chase is able to do some pretty cool stuff with the ECU tuning on the Tiburon forum. That's where you can find them. And it looks like we have a 7,300 RPM limit. And then also we got some pops and bangs here, which I'm sure is going to sound pretty cool. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. This is really the big deal when it comes to getting the most out of your NA Tiburon. So very excited about that. And then we have this guy right here, which is kind of the main attraction. So let's open this guy up. Okay, so what we have here is a custom ported upper manifold. I say custom because you'll notice that the top portion here is completely different from a stock Tiburon upper manifold, which we'll go over here in a second. We'll give you some details about that. It's also port matched. So this is a full ported setup here. To my knowledge, he also included a larger throttle body port here. So if and when I want to do a larger throttle body, he has already hooked me up with that, which is pretty awesome, which I believe he's actually going to make. He's going to be making the bigger throttle bodies for this car. So I'll be ready for that when the time comes. Just to recap, this is everything we got from Richard over at Tib Tech Engineering. Pretty cool. Really excited to get everything installed. Okay, now that we have unboxed everything that we got, I would like to at least talk about why I did this and what is going to happen moving forward. So I know that me getting rid of the Supercharger might upset some of the people on this channel. I know that some of you really wanted to see this build finished with the Supercharger, but I have reasons for why I did this, and I'd like to explain. So if you haven't figured out by now, my goal is to go with a full NA setup rather than going forced induction with the Supercharger. When I say full NA, I mean intake, headers, and exhaust. We've done 2 of those already. We have the headers ready to be installed here in the garage, so that'll be coming up soon. The full ported setup that we just received, the lower and upper intake manifolds that are ported, and then also custom, the upper is. Eventually maybe a bigger throttle body. Then the final piece to a full NA setup would be doing something like Crower cams. It's something I can do when I try to install this ported setup, because I'm going to be taking things apart anyway. And if I get a mild setup, I don't have to worry about reliability and changing up anything. I can pretty much run it as is with everything that I have. And then we'll be full NA. So let's talk about why I decided to go this route. The first reason I decided to stay NA is actually for you guys. The biggest problem with this platform is aftermarket support, and we all know that. It's something that everyone has griped about for a very long time. However, like I had mentioned earlier, with the help of people like Richard and his new company, we have the means to at least get some sort of performance mods for our cars. As much as everybody would like to supercharge their Tiburon or turbo their Tiburon, not everybody has access to not only the parts, but also the finances to be able to do that. Finding a used supercharger is pretty rare, and not only that, if you do get one, you probably have to rebuild it because it's been hammered on, it's been used. It's quite a big cost when it comes to that. Not only that, you have a lot of other supporting modifications that you need to do before you can start pushing 250, 300 horsepower plus in your car, depending on what setup that you're going to go for. And of course, a custom setup for a turbo is just ridiculously expensive, and you should probably do some internal work and X, Y, and Z. You know how it goes. However, now we have access to some sort of aftermarket performance support with a company like Tib Tech Engineering. We have Chase on the forum that can tune your ECU for you once you have your intake and headers and exhaust installed. Intake, headers, and exhaust are still available in the aftermarket world. It might not be much, but at least it's better than nothing, and this is a great car to get started on when it comes to learning how to build and wanting to modify your Tiburon. I started this build for the reasons of wanting to learn how to build cars. Not even build, because that doesn't mean I'm, opening up the engine and building an engine, but what I just mean is just tinkering and getting my hands dirty when it comes to bodywork and putting a wide body on a car, or doing basic bolt-on modifications like an exhaust or headers or an intake. This car has been so amazing to me when it comes to just getting my feet wet in the car scene, and that's what this build has always been for. It was just to get my feet wet. I never wanted to push crazy horsepower numbers or try to get anything out of this car, because I never really cared to do that with a Tiburon. I never really cared to chase speed, because at the end of the day, it's a Tiburon. It's not rear-wheel drive. It's never going to appreciate the way a JDM would. And I never wanted to drop a lot of money in this car. It was meant to be on a budget, get your feet wet, and learn about the car. And as I've had this car, doing these modifications and whatnot, some people and things have came around that kind of fell in my lap that just seemed like it was the right decision to make, and I moved forward with it. And that's kind of how I felt about this. I always wanted my build in my channel, because there was no videos out there on how to build a Tiburon and how to do certain things with the car. I wanted my build in my channel to be a model of how people can build their Tiburon with what is still available in the aftermarket world right now. Everything I've done on my car, you can still buy. So if people like my car, then you can literally do exactly like I did or something similar, because everything is still available. In the description of this video, I'm going to put Richard's website, Tib Tech Engineering. I'll also link the Tiburon forum. These are all the resources that I've used in order to build my car, and you can do the same thing. take a look at my build, take a look at what I've done on mine, and know that when you come and watch my videos, everything that I've done is still available in the aftermarket world. You can do everything that I've done to my Tiburon to yours. I'm not going crazy forced induction where people are like, man, I wish I could get a supercharger. I wish I could turbo mine, because guess what? I'm just like you. I have minimal money to work with. I have minimal time to work with. So the number one reason why I got rid of my forced induction setup for staying full NA is for you. The second reason why I got rid of my supercharger is for reliability, maintenance, and cost reasons. The more moving parts you have in a car, the less reliable it is. The more horsepower that you push in a car, the more unreliable it is, which means more maintenance cost. I don't really have the ability to buy a whole bunch of cars and have one for, you know, having fun that's got a whole bunch of horsepower, have one that's just for cruising, have a work vehicle, whatever. I have two cars. I have a work vehicle and I have this. I don't drive this in the winter months, but this is my summer daily. And every time I turn that key to turn on and I go somewhere, I want to make sure that I'm going to get there with no issues. When it comes to forced induction, you need a lot more supporting mods in order to run those modifications. Like doing a bigger brake setup is pretty much a must. Getting the really good upgraded motor mounts is absolutely a must. Upgraded clutch, absolutely a must. We're talking injectors, upgraded fuel pump. There's so many other things that are involved when you go forced induction rather than staying NA. And I just didn't really want to dump that much money into this car. Because if I'm going to go forced induction, I want to go all out and I want to do it right, and I don't want to cut any corners. And I just didn't really feel like I was in a place to do that. Again, I'm just like you guys. I do this as a fun side hobby. This isn't my full-time gig. So if I can keep my costs down and still have fun, I'm going to do it. And the last reason number 3, why I got rid of my supercharger and I'm staying NA is because I'm a rookie. I've never built a car before. I'm not a racer. You know, I am very much a beginner when it comes to the car scene. And I kind of have this like craving of wanting to see what a car can do before I kind of step out of my realm of building. And what I mean by that is I want to see like what the fullest potential of this car is and see what it can do for me. This is going to sound really funny, but this is the fastest car that I've ever owned and ever driven. My parents had a few Camaros growing up, but they were automatics and they were just completely stock V8s, and I didn't really get a chance to drive them. I think I drove it once or twice, and I don't even remember that because that was when I first got my license and I was being very respectful. So yeah, this is really the fastest car I've ever driven and the most horsepower that I've ever been able to have at my disposal. Definitely isn't much. This is considered a slow car, but after the modifications that I do, I kind of want to see what this car can do and how I feel as a driver driving something that's around the 200 horsepower mark. I did the same exact thing when it comes to motorcycles. I went up the ladder and I didn't jump the gun and go with something really, really powerful off the jump. And it really made me respect the power of the motorcycle and made me a better rider. And I'd like to do the same thing with the car. I watched a video the other day of someone talking about momentum cars. And this car is absolutely a momentum car. It's not definitely not the best momentum car. When I think of a momentum car, I think of something like a Miata, which is an amazing platform. But for me, I think that once I fully build this car and everything else, it'll kind of give me a good foundation of where I'd like to go after this. But it's kind of like one of those things where you take a slow car and you learn how to drive it. You learn how to carry your speed through the corners. You learn how to, you know, use all the gears properly. You learn your braking techniques. I would just feel more comfortable doing that on a car like this, fully max its potential, and then see where I can go. You know, get myself a foundation and then see what happens after this. To be honest with you, I'd much rather max this car out, naturally aspirated, have my fun with it, keep it maybe in my collection or whatever it ends up being, because I tend to get attached to things like my first motorcycle or my first car that I build, because I still have my first motorcycle, and then take the money, rather than dropping it all into the Tiburon, take a good amount of money for my next build and maybe build a little bit more power. And just, you know, I think my dollars would be better spent in a different platform for a car if I want to have more horsepower rather than in this one. Kind of word vomiting right now. I'm looking at the timer on the camera and it says 15 minutes. Obviously this is going to be edited, but I hope all of this makes sense. I think that's enough talking for one video. If you're interested in buying any of these products, then feel free to head over to Tib Tech Engineering, which I will go ahead and put the link in the description. Over there he has all the products that he's offering. I'd like to note I am not sponsored by this guy or this company. I did not get any of this stuff for free, so you're going to get a very raw interpretation of how the products feel once I install them on my car, so that you know what to expect should you want to buy them. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. All the links to everything is going to be in the description of this video, but we're slowly going to be chipping away at this build as time goes by. Spring and summer is going to be a lot of fun, so stay tuned for more Tiburon content. Thank you guys for watching, and remember, It's not about speed, it's about the soul.